The ragged man stood silently in the gleaming showroom, his calloused hands resting against the polished chrome grille of a brand-new Mercedes truck. His beard was white, his cap tattered, his clothes smeared with oil stains and time-worn dirt. He looked like someone who had spent a lifetime on the road, battling storms and sleepless nights, hauling loads no one else wanted. Yet here he was, standing among shiny suits and polished shoes, looking so out of place that the three women in tailored business jackets burst into laughter the moment he spoke. "I'll take 5 of these trucks," he said, in a voice that was steady, firm, and carried the weight of experience. The laughter echoed across the showroom, cold and cutting. They didn't see a man with dreams. They didn't see resilience, carved into wrinkles and scars. They only saw patched trousers, a sweat-stained shirt, and a backpack that looked like it had survived 100 storms. They thought he was joking. They thought he was mad. They thought he was nobody. But in truth, he was about to teach them the greatest lesson of their lives. Before we go further, if you believe in kindness, respect, and second chances, please take a moment to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who needs to hear stories that inspire. Your support means the world and helps keep these stories alive. The ragged man's name was Samuel Briggs. To the world, he was invisible. Just another old trucker who had seen better days. For decades, he had hauled goods across continents, sleeping in his cab more than in his own bed, eating roadside meals and working through broken bones and endless fatigue. He had sacrificed everything: family time, comfort, even his health, to keep his wheels turning and his deliveries on schedule. Trucking was not just his job, it was his life. But life had been cruel. A dishonest logistics company had stolen his wages, promising him a pension that never came. Banks had turned their backs when he asked for loans. Even his old friends had vanished when he had nothing left to offer. He became the ragged man, reduced to patching his clothes instead of buying new ones, to sleeping in run-down motels instead of resting in his own home. Still, Samuel never lost one thing: his pride in his work. He believed a man was measured not by his clothes or wealth, but by the strength of his word and the honesty of his labor. And that belief kept him moving forward. On that day, when he walked into the dealership, he wasn't there to joke. He wasn't there to beg. He was there because, after years of hard work and patience, his life was about to change forever. What the laughing women didn't know was that Samuel had been quietly saving every penny he earned for decades. He had lived modestly, refused luxuries, and invested small amounts in places no one expected. A plot of land near a busy highway, shares in a rising logistics startup, even a small stake in a fuel company that everyone had once mocked. Slowly, steadily, those investments grew. While he still dressed like the man who had known only struggle, Samuel was no longer poor. He was, in fact, wealthier than the entire dealership staff put together. But Samuel wasn't there for himself. He was there for the next generation of truckers, young men and women he had mentored along the way, those who reminded him of himself when he was starting out with nothing but determination and grit. They lacked trucks, they lacked opportunities, but they had the spirit he admired. He had promised them that one day he would find a way to help. The women's laughter grew sharper when Samuel pulled out a weathered notebook instead of a briefcase. They whispered behind their hands, mocking the holes in his jacket and the patches on his pants. They saw only a poor old man daydreaming in a place he didn't belong. But then Samuel opened the notebook and laid it gently on the saleswoman's polished desk. Inside were crisp bank statements, official documents, and proof of funds that silenced the room in an instant. Numbers that didn't just talk, they roared. The women's smiles faltered. Their laughter froze. Their faces drained of color as they realized the truth. The ragged man could not only afford 5 trucks, he could buy the entire dealership if he wanted to. And suddenly, the silence in the room was louder than the laughter had ever been. Samuel didn't gloat. He didn't shout. He simply looked them in the eye and said, "Respect costs nothing. But laughing at someone's dream, that can cost you everything." The room shifted. The same women who mocked him now scrambled to offer him coffee, apologies, and handshakes. But Samuel remained calm. He wasn't there for their approval. He was there for his mission. One by one, he signed the papers. 5 Mercedes trucks, not for himself, but for the young truckers who had been struggling at the edge of poverty. Within days, those trucks were roaring down highways under new hands, belonging to boys and girls who once thought their dreams were impossible. Samuel handed over the keys with a smile, telling them to remember only one thing: never judge a man by his clothes, and never laugh at someone trying to rise. But the story didn't end there. The women who laughed at Samuel couldn't shake the shame they felt. Word spread quickly. Photos of Samuel with his new fleet of trucks reached social media, where thousands shared his story. He became a symbol of perseverance and dignity, a man who proved that strength and determination shine brighter than expensive suits and polished shoes. People across the country began calling him the ragged millionaire trucker. Yet Samuel never let the fame change him. He still wore the same patched clothes. He still carried the same old backpack. He still helped others quietly, without seeking applause. What changed were the lives of those he touched, the young drivers who now had jobs, families who now had stability, and communities that now respected the man who had once been invisible. One evening, Samuel sat alone at a truck stop, sipping weak coffee as the sun dipped below the horizon. He watched one of the young truckers drive past in a Mercedes, the engine humming like a promise fulfilled. A tear welled up in his eye, not because of pride, but because of relief. He had kept his word. He had proven that, even when the world laughs at you, your truth and resilience can silence them all. And as the neon signs flickered to life and the trucks rolled on into the night, Samuel whispered to himself, "Respect is earned, but kindness is given." If this story touched your heart, please don't forget to like, comment, and share. Your engagement helps us bring more inspiring stories to light and reminds the world that every life has value, no matter how it looks from the outside. Special request in the comments, write respect and kindness. If you believe every person deserves dignity, no matter what they wear or where they come from. Because sometimes the ragged man is the one with the richest soul.